Give Nick a welcome to 1 Million Cups. He's attended before and will be presenting his business as Good Earth Recycling. He started a venture about 5 years ago in waste management in Dallas and has moved to Lubbock and is starting a curbside recycling pickup. So start telling us a little bit about who you are, and let's give him a standing ovation.
Okay, so you all know my name, so I'd kind of like to get to know y'all too. So on the count of three, if everyone could just say their name, that would be great. 1, 2, 3. Okay, awesome. Now I feel like I know you guys. And you all know me. So is it alright if I tell you guys a little bit about myself? Whenever I first graduated high school, I really didn't know what I wanted to do. And obviously the push was to go to college, but that just didn't really feel right to me. So I started my first business with $70, and we started a pollution management company where we worked for home builders in the DFW Metroplex and some pretty large clients that we had. Meritage Homes, how many people have heard of Meritage Homes? They're listed on the stock market, so they're pretty big, and Innovation Builders, and just some of the larger home building companies there in DFW. And what we did for them was we made sure that they were in line with EPA guidelines, and so we'd go out there and we would evaluate what they're currently doing and suggest ways to improve, and then we would install those things to get them up to speed and get them up to guidelines with the EPA. So I did that for a while. It was really good, and we grew quite a bit, pretty fast. By year 3, I had a few trucks. We were working in 11 different cities in the DFW Metroplex and just going all over the place. And then around year 5, I got the opportunity to sell the business. And so I went ahead and did that and exited the business. There was a company out of California, and they were looking to expand into the Texas market, and they already had some stuff in Houston, and they were trying to go a little more north. And so I sold to them. They bought the company 100%, and then I kind of stayed on for about 3 months and retained her as just sort of a consultant to them as they kind of merged and grew from there and took over the clients. And then from there, I kind of had a little mini retirement, and I went backpacking in Europe and went to South America and saw the forest devastation there and the rainforest and everything. And that kind of hit home with me a lot. And then I didn't know what I wanted to do. I knew I liked being an entrepreneur. I liked owning my own business, and so I knew I wanted to do that, but I wasn't sure what. And then I got the opportunity to go to Texas Tech on a full ride. So I took that opportunity, and that's how I ended up here in Lubbock. And then while I was here, I was so used to recycling in Dallas because that's what everyone did. And I would have a plastic water bottle here, and I would finish it and say, well, where do you guys want me to throw this? And they would say, well, just put it in the trash. We don't have recycling. And I'm like, no, I'll keep it. Because I felt so bad actually throwing that away. And so I've always been very environmental. Me and my girlfriend now, we're working on building a tiny house to where we can live very sustainably. So we're probably going to live in a space that's the size of most of your bedrooms. It's like 258 square feet for our entire living space. And so we've always been very sustainable. And so the opportunity just sort of came to me where, what if we did this and we made recycling very convenient? So just by a show of hands, how many people in here care about recycling? Okay, so that's pretty much everyone in the room. So how many people in this room actually do recycle? Okay, a lot less hands went up, right? And the question is why. You care about recycling. You indicated that you did, so why don't you? And a lot of it's that cost and benefit ratio. It costs too much, and your perceived cost is too much versus the perceived benefits. So that's kind of where we come in, is we level that out, and we provide curbside recycling in a very convenient and simple way for people to where they don't have to go out of their way to do it. And so what we do as a curbside recycling service, we don't have any sorting. You don't have to sort it at all. You throw everything in one bag, and we actually provide the bags for you. There's no contracts, no startup fees. It's just sort of a month-to-month basis. Use this as you need it. Just very simple, convenient. It's just $15 a month, $25 for twice a month pickup, or $40 for every single week pickup. And we do a lot with that. You get a lot of value for that price. So we do a lot of community development cleanup. So one thing that we focused on was cleaning up, the first park that we focused on was May Simmons Park, right over there by McKinsey Park, and it's a really big disc golfing course and stuff. A lot of people go there to hike. And so we cleaned that up with a bunch of volunteers, and there's a picture of it. So we collected over 42 bags, 50 gallons each. So that's over 2,100 gallons of trash that we just collected that was just there on the ground in the park. And so we really focus on giving back to the community in that way. All of the recycling materials we bring to Tech, and it's processed through there. So the money that Tech receives for those recyclables go back into student scholarships. So it does kind of have a universal effect with that too, and just benefiting the local economy. And then protecting the environment, obviously, we've all heard of the benefits of recycling and what it can do for us. And then, we just try to bring as much value to our customers as possible. So we recycle everything from plastics 1 and 2, glass, paper, cardboard, tin, metal, aluminum, and styrofoam. And just sort of how it works, basically we divided the city up into 3 segments. So depending on where you live in the city, it depends on your pickup day. We either pick up Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. And the monthlies are done on the second week of the month, and then bi-monthlies are every other week, and then weeklies are, of course, every week. And so we've just done a lot with that. We've been featured on every single news network here in Lubbock, and we just try to do as much good for the environment and for the community as possible, but still giving as much value to the people as we possibly can. So that's pretty much the business, and if you guys have any questions, be more than happy to answer that, because a lot of times whenever people talk, they don't cover everything. So I'd like to hear what you guys have to say. So
Yeah. Currently, you're just doing Lubbock. Are you looking to expand to some of the smaller communities outside of Lubbock?
Yeah, we are. We're actually working with Buffalo right now, and we've got a form going where people are signing up for our service, saying that they will sign up for our service. And once we get enough names there, we're going to go out to Buffalo. We're going to do the same thing with a lot of smaller communities too. It's going to be need-based. So if they prove that there's a need for it out there, then we're willing to go out there, absolutely.
Nicholas, first, congrats for being an entrepreneur at such an young age, and I wish I could take an early retirement. Son to go to medical school, you see that tall order for me. And welcome to Tech, and we are glad that people like you are choosing Lubbock as a home. You need to tell us about your revenue stream. You said it's a service fee of $15 to $40.
Right.
And you have to pay Tech. And how do you generate revenue? So you share with Tech, you sell the recycled materials, because that, if you could tell, that if you can.
Yeah. So at the moment, our revenue is generated from transportation, essentially. So what we do is we bring the material to Tech, and that's our job. Is we provide that convenience for people to where they don't have to go out of their way sorting a bunch of material and transporting. So we take it up to Tech and we sort out the cardboard and the glass, and then Tech does the rest. And so we could sell that material, but at the moment, we're just not at that scale to where we're ready to take on that responsibility. So Tech does it, and then it has that dual benefit of the students receiving scholarships from the material that Tech is then selling.
So your revenue is basically on the service fee provided by your users. Tech doesn't
Right.
impart anything to you yet.
No. Right, and so we do focus on getting customers in specific areas so that we can reduce our costs by getting more people in certain neighborhoods and certain areas. Yeah, good question.
How do you handle your fleet, like your vehicles, and then like your driver training for the guys that drive for you?
Was that with my previous business?
Or either way?
Oh, well, this one we only have one vehicle at the moment, so we're hoping to expand pretty soon, but we're not going to do that until there's a need. So at the moment we can handle it with all one vehicle. And with my previous business, as far as how I managed the fleet, we had company trucks, and they were assigned to individual people. We had tracking systems on the car, so we knew how many miles they were doing and where they were going, so we could make sure that it was for business and not for personal. Everyone had a company card that just went to just a separate external account that they would draw from to pay for gas or lunch or something like that. And so we kind of give them that freedom to, they were independent contractors. So basically we just say, here's your job, go do it, kind of thing. We couldn't control much else beyond that. So the main thing was just us controlling where the vehicle goes and making sure they're responsible with that, and then same thing, being responsible with the car. And it's just sort of a give and take. We see that they're being responsible with it, and we say, hey, get yourself a lunch whenever you want sometime, that kind of thing, and just that push-pull. And if they're not responsible, sorry, you don't get to be a lead, and you don't get to actually have a truck. So they would have a crew, and it would be them, and only the lead would be the one who's actually responsible with the vehicle and the car and things like that.
Here's a scenario that you probably see a lot. People come up and say, recycling is such a hassle. I just want to throw stuff in one place, and basically you would have to pay me to make me recycle. How do y'all address that?
Yeah, I mean, and so much of that too is the perceived benefits that you're getting from the recycling, and in their mind, those benefits are very, very low. So part of it is educating and helping people to understand what the value of recycling is. And so we do that by having monthly newsletters where we help to educate people. We try to do a lot of education things, working with just different organizations. So we're going to be speaking at Tech in a few weeks. But yeah, I mean, that is definitely a hard thing because you're coming into an area where people aren't used to recycling. And so they're not used to the culture of that, the way bigger cities like Dallas and places in California are. And so you do have that disconnect. And so part of that is the education of it and helping people understand that it is simple. All you do is you take these 7 or 8 items, you rinse them out and you put them in the bin, and you get to impact both locally, environmentally, and globally in a lot of ways.
Do you think there's another structure y'all could put into place that's totally different, where the consumers don't pay anything, but you get revenue from turning into materials?
At the moment, that would be really challenging because the materials aren't selling for very much. So until the commodities start to rise in value, it's not really worth it to sell much else beyond. I mean, you can, but to do it on a solely that is hard to do. Because I mean, even with your trash, I mean, your trash isn't free. You still get $15 on your electric bill every single month that goes to LP&L, and part of that $15 goes to your trash. So even with that system, which is far more profitable taking it to the landfill, it's still not perfect enough where you don't have to charge the consumer.
So one way to look at it is work with LP&L to see that we are helping you out of that $15, even if you get a 10 cent, it builds up your revenue out of that.
Yeah, I mean, and long term, it would be great to have a system where we work with the city or LP&L directly and just sort of have it as an opt-in, opt-out service or something that people do. But the problem with that is they tried that before. The city of Lubbock has tried that a couple different times, and both times it failed. And the city also tried to do it with Freelance, just a private company, and that failed as well. So the city's just sort of done with it at the moment. And we've met the mayor, we've talked to the mayor a few times, and just let him know what we're doing, what we want to accomplish. And he just says, at the moment, unless you really prove that it's possible, at the moment we've been there, done that, we're not interested. But yeah, I mean, ideally that would be the route to go for sure.
And just a quick follow, how did you get the word to the customer that, hey, I will give you blue bags, you put it there? How did you get into this market in Lubbock first? It's 4 months, you said. How did you launch this?
Yeah, a lot of it has been word of mouth, social media, talking directly to people. So much of it is just going face to face and letting people know and answering, addressing their concerns in just a really open manner. Because, like you said, there's all of those different things. Well, what about this? What about that? What if why should I have to even pay to do my recycling? That kind of thing. So it's just being able to communicate with people on a direct level. And then word of mouth.
You said something about a recycle can. Do y'all provide that, or do you inform the customer as to how they need to do that?
Well, what we do is we let all the customers know that we're providing you bags, and we provide 3 bags per pickup. So if you're bi-monthly, you'll get 6 of them. And they're 33-gallon bags. They're pretty big. They're really sturdy. We did a lot of research on our bags, and we provide the customer with that. We also have bag holders that they can purchase if they don't want to go out to Walmart and just buy their own. But basically, all you do is you put it in the bag and you put it out by the curb, and that saves us the effort of having to get a bin and then empty the bin and charge the consumer extra for like renting a bin and things like that.
What is the capacity that the tech recycling plant can handle?
What they told us is it's pretty large because whenever we first started, I went and talked to them and I made sure that we had, a good relationship with them and established this as like, where can we go with this long term? And they said, you just bring as much as you possibly can to us and we'll handle it. So they didn't give me exact specifications on how much they could handle, but I mean, right now they're nowhere near what they could be doing. And
Do you have any corporate structure for picking up, say, restaurants or apartment complexes?
yeah, we're working on that right now. We've got something going on where we're working on apartment complexes and just offering them a wholesale price that they can charge to their residents, and then same deal where it's out by the door and we can buy to each apartment unit and pick it up. The benefit of that is just having all of that volume in one location. And then with restaurants too, it really depends. I mean, a lot of them don't really have that much, so we're really not charging them too much more than just a regular consumer. And we're still kind of working on a plan for that, but a lot of it is structured based on the individual business and what they do. Some of them do a ton of paper, a ton of shred and stuff like that, and some it's going to be more cans, and so it really depends on what they're doing. We structure around that. It's more of an individual basis for the businesses.
Hi, quick question.
Yeah.
With regards to your previous venture, your first exit, what permit were you working under?
We did SWPPP,
All right.
so we wrote SWPPPs too, and so we would do that for the businesses as well, but that was our guidelines as well.
So you were going TCQ.
Yeah.
Good question. About the Tech Stadium now, what do they do with all that trash? Does that go into recyclable or do you know?
No, from what I've heard, most of it is just waste because it gets mixed with other building construction material, and a lot of that they just have to throw out. And that's the thing with recycling too, is the technology is still getting there, and a lot of it is just the demand for it. As people start to demand, well, we want recycled products, we only want to buy pre-recycled items, and as more and more people start to recycle, that demand goes up, and as the demand goes up, they'll improve the technology. But at the moment, the technology isn't quite there, so things can very easily spoil a batch of recycling, and a lot of times, like the insulation and just different things that they throw away during construction just ends up in the trash. And it's the same thing whenever we were working with the construction companies. I mean, they would just have a giant trash bin, and that was pretty much it. They didn't even care to try to sort it out. It would be a smart way of doing it, especially if you get the metal out, but they don't even really bother. Did that answer your question?
Yeah, my kids went to Trinity School for a time. We used to clean that west side of half, which was unbelievable. But just thinking about all that trash going to the dump, and there ought to be a way. We never understood why they didn't have some kind of receptacle as you walk out where you can just take your cup,
Oh, you're talking
dump
about
it in, or just already have it set up where you could go in and just throw your stuff in the receptacle as you exit the stadium.
Part of the large-scale events,
Yeah,
if you could catch that.
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm kind of surprised that Tech isn't doing that already, given that they have recycling centers in most of their buildings already.
Too. That's forceful.
So, but I mean, I guess it is sort of that too, is, you've got all of these cups in there and someone throws a hot dog or a funnel cake and it spoils the rest of it.
Is that right?
And the technology isn't there to where they can process it and clean it properly. So I guess in their mind it's not even worth it. But yeah, that would be a good thing to check into and see if maybe they could make it work. I mean, you don't know until you try. Maybe the people would be responsible enough to actually do it correctly.
Do you think there's a way to create a higher demand for the materials y'all collect in a reuse program of crushing the glass and using it as garden material, or using all the paper and turning it into compost, or being able to turn that into a higher price demand that you could have another revenue stream from?
Yeah, that would be great. I mean, we're looking into that right now. I mean, we're really looking into glass and finding ways that we can do something ourselves with glass. because the glass market for the resales is really, really low. Glass is really, if it gets broken before processing, it can rip up the machinery and stuff like that. And so a lot of the recycling facilities don't even want to mess with glass. And so it's becoming more and more rare that glass is actually able to be recycled, which is a shame because it's really important to be able to recycle that. I mean, it lasts for an extremely long time in the landfill. So yeah, we're definitely looking into that, but so much of this business with selling these commodities is demand. And so if we can find enough landscaping companies that want that glass and possibly bottling companies that want to take that recycled glass once it's melted down, then there would definitely be a bigger market. But I mean, same thing with the consumer too. Going out and saying, well, I want to buy recycled paper, pre-recycled paper, and it's not much more money. And in making those very conscious decisions, what that does is you're voting with your dollar on the future that you want. And so you're telling the world that, hey, I want more recycled products, and then it creates that higher demand, they improve the technology, and the commodity prices go up.
So what's your ultimate goal? Is your ultimate goal to build this up like your last business and hope somebody comes in and sells it off, or do you want to continue to sustain the community, or?
Yeah, I'd like to really benefit the community here, because I really feel like this is a pretty big market that no one's really caring about the recycling and the environment here locally. Whereas you have innovative cities like Dallas and Austin and stuff like that that are going above and beyond regular standards. And so I really think that Lubbock is full of people that want to see innovation and want to see that change, and I'd really like to stay here. And we definitely don't want to fall into like a MIOPA situation where we're only doing recycling. We'd like to expand into other aspects of eco-friendly things and environmentally beneficial things. And so it would probably be just a peg long term. But I mean, at the moment, our 5-year plan is basically with recycling. And then once that gets built to a certain level, we can look at doing other things. What I'd really like to focus on long term is finding better uses for plastic, ulterior uses for plastic. Instead of, because right now basically what they do is they melt it down and they turn it into a higher level plastic, which is then not recyclable because it's too complicated at that point. So really finding a better way to utilize plastic would be a really good thing that we'd like to focus on.
Have you been to the landfill that Lubbock uses?
I have.
It's out north on 179, and we used to live out there, drive by there, and the Walmart bags were all over the surrounding acreage that was under production, agricultural production. And that's one of the reasons that I started using the reusable bags. But it seems like people don't want to take the time to do that. Because if I leave my bags at home, it's 40 miles to go back and get them.
Yeah.
So how do you think we can make our community more aware of the damage they're doing?
Visuals are really helpful. I mean, it's really hard too because I think a lot of it is cultural, a lot of it's habitual. We have reusable bags too, and half the time we forget them at the house, and we get there and we're like, oh dang, well let's try to carry it all. But part of that is like we have a society that is just giving away bags for free without even caring about the damages. And Dallas for a while, I went to where they had the voting, and they tried to vote on making plastic bags at a cost, or charging the consumer, and it wasn't much. It was 25 cents a bag. It adds a few dollars onto your bill, but people were outraged and they didn't want to do that. And it's just a lot of it is that mentality, and we need a paradigm shift to move us to the next level and get us to a point of that. But I mean, I think a lot of it is visuals. I mean, those SPCA commercials where they have the puppies and the sad music. I mean, that's so impactful because it really like tugs on your heartstrings, and it's hard to do that with a lot of levels. But I mean, if you look at that, imagine all of those bags of trash being taken out and just dumped all over a park, and that's the way it was before we got there. And so a lot of that is the visual thing. That you walk past the park, yeah, you see a piece of litter, but until it's all collected in one spot, you don't realize how much it is. And maybe that's a lot of, with the landfill, it's, it's off on its own, it's away, it's gone, so we don't worry about it kind of thing. But we need to bring it back into awareness and make people understand the impact that it has. I mean, tons of methane is released by the landfills, which is, holds 25 times more greenhouse gases than carbon dioxide. So it's really not beneficial except in the short term.
But Nicholas, if people who are into it are doing it, so it's somewhere we need to start, right? So there are people in Lubbock, including me. I always use these reusable bags. I put a couple of bags in my car. So I do it, and I think, if I'm right, I'm aging, so my memory may slip. The Sprouts Market do charge you if you use their polyethylene 0.5 micron bags, 5 cents or 10 cents. So there are things which are happening in Lubbock, may not be to the bigger level, but people like you, if you spread the word like this, we may make a change.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, I didn't know Sprouts was doing that. That's
I
really good.
guess so, but I may not be right. But
Yeah, and I guess a lot of that too is company choice, whereas in Dallas they were trying to make it regulation.
But you go there on Wednesdays, it's all full. You see a lot of crowd. On other days you don't, but it's happening in a small little way.
And so much of recycling initiatives have been brought on by regulation, but I think the consumers don't realize the power that they have to vote with their dollar on the kind of initiatives that we want to have. And so if recycling is important to you, and just say so with how you spend your money. It's the easiest way to do it. You don't really have to go out of your way or do anything complicated. Recycle too, even if you don't recycle with us. Maybe just a little bit. Take it somewhere, just do a little bit. So.
That kind of sounds like the answer to my last question, but what can we as a community do for you?
Well, really what we're looking for is connections with people that could either help us move forward in this mission, either connections with the local government or the small businesses to where we get that proof of concept. So just connections with maybe apartment complexes, retail spaces, anything like that, where we could try to move forward and benefit more people with this.
Thank you. That concludes for today. If you have any Does anyone have any announcements or anything else, or did we get all that covered? Okay. Thank you all for coming. Stay around and visit for a little bit.